Hello, and welcome to Those Crazy Weirdos, episode 8. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Martine.
And we're back.
Yeah, and then welcome to episode 8. Yep.
I already did welcome to episode 8.
I know, you're doing things all out of order, man. What's wrong with the format?
What do you mean for? I said welcome back to Those Crazy Weirdos, didn't I? Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just said...
No.
Oh, well, anyway,
It's
welcome
okay.
back.
Cameron will get it one of these days.
Welcome to episode 8.
Yep. Number 8. That's not that... It's less than 10. It feels like we've done more
Wow.
than 10 of these.
8 is less than 10?
Oh, shut up.
No.
Technically-
You know, what's cool, though? It's 2 to the power of 3. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. But also, it's less than 10, which is arguably quite a small number. But because it's weekly, that's 2 months.
Oh, wow. That's 56 days. Yeah.
Like 56 days is... Oh, I see. Like 7 times 8. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's weird that we're in April, though.
We are in April, man.
I feel like the year just started.
The April showers have commenced, although we had winter showers this year, which was really weird.
The weather's it's all over the place.
I find April's been very April-y. I mean, it was a bit warmer than usual for a couple days, but
That's true. But
it's
that's
been
kind of,
fairly normal other than those 2 warm days.
yeah, I think even on any regular given year in the past, it's always been kind of a mixed bag. Like,
Yeah.
you can expect summer and winter weathers in it,
100%.
which is what we've seen.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our teas again.
Yep. Oh, we're going to listen for the clink. There it is.
I love that you have to announce that we're listening for the clink.
You're welcome. Just giving people some helpful hints.
What flavor do you have again? I made it for you. It was
Yeah.
blueberry with honey.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one.
I
I like
checked my
I
tea,
like
though.
that combo quite a lot, I have to say.
Blueberry is my favorite. But I can't have it too often. If not, it wouldn't be special.
True. Just like new running shoes. Speaking of which, you are wearing mine at the moment. Everybody, whoever's listening to this, I'll have you know that Martine is literally sitting at our living room table, or dining room table. What is this? Our table,
Yeah.
because we only have one, wearing my brand new running shoes, fresh out of the box, inside the house, for no reason at all other than she thought it was fun.
It's the best time to wear them, isn't it? Because there's no dirt on the bottom. I can traipse around the house in the shoes all I want. They're kind of like slippers.
Also, Martine does not have the same size feet as me. At all.
Shocking?
So, she's just walking around in these massive clown shoes all around the house, and it's just so funny.
I wouldn't be wearing them if they didn't fit surprisingly well. Because they're not broken in yet. Your feet are super wide and all that. And
Yes.
they haven't had time to stretch out the shoes yet. So it's kind of like giving my feet a really loose hug. Kind of like a hoodie or sweatpants.
Like one of my hoodies or my sweatpants.
No, one of your small hoodies or sweatpants. That kind of equivalent.
Right, which is still absolutely massive on you.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't try. The stairs were a little tricky to manipulate. Let's just say that.
To manipulate. You manipulated this.
Oh, to maneuver.
To maneuver, yeah. That's the word you're looking for.
I was so sure of myself.
Yeah, to manipulate. Yeah.
It starts with the same 3 letters, so
Maneuver. Okay. All right. Should we get into it?
yes, let's. Cue the theme tune. Those crazy weirdos. Those crazy weirdos. Those crazy weirdos. You don't say, my dear fellow.
Indubitably. Let me try that again. Indubitably. Quite.
Your face bends all strange when you do that.
I have to pretend. Let me pick up my teacup. Oh, this isn't a proper teacup, but I can do it with the finger. Indubitably quite.
think you would really not like drinking out of a proper teacup.
No.
You would take like one sip, be like, it's done.
Yeah,
And
they're
then-
really small looking.
I think if in like traditional tea time, whatever, you would need a whole teapot to yourself.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I would think so, yeah.
Probably.
I drink quite a bit of tea.
Yes. Anyways, you don't say. This is the part of the podcast where we tell each other cool stuff that we've learned.
Yeah, just some
Through
cool facts.
Research and otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know how thorough our research always is. I'm sure that some people are going to listen to this and fact check us on some things, but...
Well, the more the merrier. Send us an email
Exactly.
at thosecrazyweirdospodcast@gmail.com to challenge us.
Yeah,
Bring
fact
it
check
on.
us. Send us your own facts. I double, triple dare you. Do you remember that in the schoolyard?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, double, triple dare. Or what was it? Double, triple... There's double dare, then
Double
there's a
dog
triple
dare.
Double dog dare. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah.
double dog dare you. Oh, gosh.
And then, well, I triple dare you.
I love that you had to do it in the school accent. That's awesome.
School, you mean childhood?
Childhood voice. Okay. Sorry, ladies first.
Well, thank you. So, my you don't say this week is, I thought it'd be interesting to tell you,
And the listeners.
yes, about when you Google obscure professions, what comes up.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is taken from various sources across the web, and they've got like a main list on the like front page that Google has deemed to be the most unusual or obscure professions.
Interesting. So like one of those like search plugins like Google Flights or Google whatever.
Yeah, like one of those.
Very cool.
Anyway, so some of them I dug a bit deeper in if I was curious about them, and others I just thought it was so strange that they included this in obscure professions. So,
Oh, okay.
are you excited?
I'm super intrigued, actually. Like, I'm way more intrigued than I thought I would be for obscure professions.
So, in no particular order, golf ball diver.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. In Britain alone, each year, about 20 million golf balls are lost in like various bodies of water.
Yep.
So, divers can ask for permission to dive for the golf balls and either like share the profits or give back the golf facility a like certain percentage of them as payment, and they will just sell the golf balls secondhand after they like clean them up and stuff.
Wow.
And it's like a multi-million-dollar business, and some divers can earn as much as like $100 an hour doing this.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that so random?
What? Yeah, I know that. Okay, I know that golf balls are they're a whole thing, right? Like bowling balls. I'm pretty sure, just like bowling balls, where they have like different dimple depths and different amounts of dimples and whatever. If you want to do a curve shot, you use this kind of ball. If you want to do.
Just the whole ball industry, really.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
But I remember bowling balls have like a big metal chonk in the middle.
Oh, that makes sense.
And they changed the shape of this piece of metal in the middle
Oh.
in order to give it different characteristics for how it rolls.
That's cool.
So-
I never really thought of that. I just thought that the bowling ball was itself just heavy material.
No, they're like super complicated.
Oh, cool.
If you want to learn more, there's a cool Veritasium video on bowling.
Oh,
And there's
neat.
also like in that video, he also talks about the oil patterns on bowling alleys. So before it was just a plank of wood, but modern bowling alleys, you can't just have a plank of wood. It's always slick and oiled up.
Oh, I see.
And they do different patterns for it. So you could have like
That's
up.
cool.
I think one of them's called a bear. One of them's called something else. And it depends like whether there's more oil that goes longer up the sides or I don't know. They have different patterns, and so you throw differently if you're using this ball and this oil pattern.
the
Like
science of,
yeah,
like, just never would have thought of that.
it's really technical. It's crazy.
Okay, ready for another one?
Yeah.
Chief Listening Officer.
Oh wow. Is this like an audiobook thing?
This is relatively new with the dawn of social media, in that this person's role is to, in brackets, listen in
Oh.
to conversations on social media about a specific company or brand, and then report back to the rest of the senior leadership team with the stuff that they found, and the goal to like help the company improve their branding and marketing strategies.
So chief marketing officer, essentially.
I don't think so. I think that they would be like feeding information into the chief marketing officer.
Right. So their job as a C-level person would be to go on social media and read forums
Yeah.
about the.
It-
Sounds sick. What? Can I actually get paid like a couple $100K a year just to browse social media?
It sounds like a lot of grunt work for a C-suite, though.
Right?
I wonder
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
Don't you
they're
have
the ones that like
teams for that?
compile the. Yeah, maybe they just get the information and compile presentations and be all fancy about it.
That sounds like a CMO to me, like a chief marketing officer.
Yeah, you're right. It does seem very related. Anyways, it's one that
Yeah.
came up a few times though in the like.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's a rebranding of a chief marketing officer
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It does sound
Or maybe
more
chief marketing
friendly.
officer just wasn't a thing in the first place. And I just know that one of my companies had one of those. So
What are
maybe
the companies you worked for?
Huh?
Makes it sound like you're an entrepreneur. One of my companies.
Yes, sorry. One of my previous jobs, a company at which I was previously employed, had a chief marketing officer, and that was the first time I've ever seen that title.
I mean, it makes sense though. It's
Yeah.
surprising that
No,
they
it
don't
makes
have more. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, I'll give you a couple more, and then you can interject with a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be a professional mourner.
I think I know about this, so that you have someone at your funeral, right?
Yeah. Apparently, this is quite common in Chinese and Middle Eastern cultures.
Ooh, that's sad. Okay. Yeah.
This is what the article said.
Mm-hmm.
And these professional mourners are hired to boost numbers at funerals if there's few family members and friends that would be in attendance.
You know, that kind of makes sense. Does that make sense for China yet?
I don't know.
Because for China, I know they have the one-child policy, and then now they've reverted that, and they want more population because they're at like some
They're
demographic
booming.
shift.
Yeah.
But they're not having kids, and I guess in the future there will be a whole like issue with the funerals. But I'm surprised it's popular in China. Anyway, sorry.
Apparently. And the site that I was reading this on, I looked at several different sites. One of them was LinkedIn. Anyways, they this particular
That classic, really good source of information, social media, LinkedIn.
This article was talking about like these are some unusual jobs that you might get into, and they were giving like tips and like advice for each of the weird jobs. So that for the professional mourner, they were like, you need to have a good memory and good social skills because you need to be able to be calm under tense situations and talk about the deceased in a like
Whoa.
familiar manner.
So the professional mourners have to talk about them.
Apparently, like I don't know if they just
Maybe they
pretend
mingle.
know. Yeah, like oh, I'm a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I like that you did that in an old lady's accent.
And then you can also, as like a tangent to that, there are companies, one being Rent a Crowd, where you can rent just a bunch of people, and they are used for PR stunts and like store launches and stuff.
Like Trump's inauguration.
Things like that, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
But this one, the article said that you could earn about 45 pounds, like British pounds, which is roughly 80 CAD, for a day's work as a professional mourner, which isn't that much.
That's not much at all.
Unless they're talking, okay, but like if you book yourself with several funerals a day. But still, like one funeral, $80. Anyways, must be a side gig.
That's interesting, yeah. No, I never would have guessed.
And then I have one more related one to that.
Hit me.
A bereavement coordinator.
What?
So that's someone who will develop and enact a care plan and a psychological and social assessment for family members of people who have died or who are like terminally ill.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. It's basically therapists.
Yeah, just like I guess approaching grief in a more organized manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, instead of wedding planning, you're death planning.
Yeah, I know.
Sort of.
That must be quite a morbid business, though.
Yeah.
Like, oof, it takes, I don't know. You gotta be sad some days.
Yeah. There's, like, The thing that's weird to me is funeral parlors and funeral houses and stuff are usually family businesses.
Yeah.
They're usually named after the family.
Yeah.
And I find that super strange. Imagine saying, oh, I'm going to run my dad's business when he dies. Oh, yeah, what's your dad's business? Oh, funerals. What?
I mean, maybe it's just because if you're raised as a child to be like, yeah, this is just a thing and it's not weird, then you don't find it as weird as someone who would be like dealing with it.
Yeah. People are always going to need funerals. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a bad business to be in.
No,
it's, they're expensive.
Supply is never short.
Supply will remain high and demand will remain high is what we mean to say. Supply is the funeral house itself. They're just part of the supply.
Right. I was thinking that the dead people supply the funeral home. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, your turn.
Okay, let's move on to something a lot happier than funerals.
Yeah.
Stuffed animals.
Oh.
I have a couple facts about stuffed animals and teddy bears.
That's so happy. Oh, I like this.
Yeah. So, the first commercial interest in stuffed animals was actually in Germany.
Really?
Deutschland!
Cool.
By the Steiff Company. Not so long after, a USian, or Statesian, or an American, whichever one you want to call them, made a teddy bear as well, kind of independently.
Okay.
And they made it a bear, and they called it Teddy's Bear.
Oh.
Based on a tale, which is purportedly true, about Theodore Roosevelt, who refused to shoot a bear when out on a hunt.
That's cool.
So what I read about the tale is that he was out on the hunt, and he had a bunch of he had a bunch of people with him because, he's a president, etc., etc. He was president at the time. And they found a bear, or they were chasing a bear, and his crew grabbed this bear and, tied it to a tree.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because they wanted to give him, they were trying to please him. Oh, here's a bear that you can kill, kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
And he refused to kill it. He was like,
Go
no,
him.
dude. Like, what? This poor bear. I'm not going to fuse it. Some of them... So there were a bunch of caricatures in the newspapers and stuff afterwards.
Right.
Some depicted it as a bear cub, some as a bear. In any case, that's how it became a bear.
Okay.
And that's why it was Teddy's Bear, because this was a stuffed animal of the bear cub in the newspaper clipping kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so Teddy's
That's
Bear,
interesting.
and eventually the apostrophe S got dropped and it just became a teddy bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when was the German/American stuffed animals shown up in?
I think it's 1903. It is the late 19th century. So around 1880s or something is when they first started to appear in Germany. And I think it was the Steiff Company, one of their grandmothers purportedly made them a stuffed elephant when they were kids. And then that's how they got into the making stuffed animals commercially.
Aww.
I think it was around 1903, early 1900s.
So teddy bears weren't a thing before then?
No.
Wow. That's
Apparently,
really new.
So at least commercial interest in them.
Yeah.
I think before there were such things as fluffy toys and objects.
Homemade dolls and stuff.
That kids, for centuries, kids.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's been a long held tradition.
Yeah.
But the modern teddy bear, the one we all know and love, that's relatively new, yeah.
That's cool. I've never gotten the whole thing about having a doll as the equivalent of what a stuffed animal would be.
Apparently there was some controversy about when stuffed animals became commercially viable and mass widespread type thing. Yeah, some people were like, no, you're going to make... I think it was particularly about the girls and getting rid of dolls, replacing them with teddy bears.
Oh my god.
It was hilarious. Could you imagine? I can't imagine some crazy parents. No, she needs to be interested in a doll and be interested in having children and, taking care.
As a child.
They genuinely thought that a little girl holding a teddy bear instead of a doll, a humanoid doll, was going to lose their instinct to nurture as a mother. And so it was
so stupid.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. I remember I never interested in dolls. I mean, stuffed animals are soft.
They're
and
so
cuddly.
much better. So much better.
Obviously, you're going to want to hug that.
Yeah.
More than a sharp-faced doll.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip down. I have a sad story kind of in the middle, but I'm going to skip down because we're already talking about how they're awesome.
Okay.
To a happy thing.
Okay.
The figure I see online, based on various surveys taken by various people, but relatively recently, 2017, 2018 type thing, is around 40 to 45% of adults still sleep with a childhood teddy bear. Yeah.
Oh, I do.
Or plushie. We both do, yeah.
Yeah.
And a number of people, and the number of people who actually just keep them, even if they don't sleep with them, is well over 50%.
Yeah. Well, it's really, they have eyes. They look at you. They're really cute.
They have eyes. Sorry. I really didn't expect you to say that. That's not the...
No, but like, how can you throw out a, like...
I think it's more a sentimental thing rather than the fact they have eyes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You feel more connected to them because they're looking at you with the eyes.
No, I think that it's more sentimental just because this is Teddy. Like you personify them as your friend, not because it has eyes.
Well, that helps.
Oh gosh. Okay, we'll go back to you, and I only have one more factor. It's a story about stuffed animals. Okay. A little bit sad, but really cute at the same time.
All right. You can be a professional queuer.
For pool?
A line sitter. So people will pay you to wait in line for them.
Oh, a queuer isn't like waiting a queue. Okay.
Yeah. Or a line sitter.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
The way one of these systems works is that the customers will ask for bids from a bunch of line sitters, and usually they'll be paid about £15 an hour. This was still the British article.
Right. I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah. £15
an hour.
I know.
You know, I think that's a popular thing for big releases.
Yeah.
Like iPhones.
Yeah.
Apple, like a lot of Apple things, or even shoes, like the new Yeezys are coming out, and so the lines start the day before.
Yeah, the things where you have to like sleep overnight.
People put up tents and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, eh? There are professional bridesmaids.
Whoa.
So essentially, it's like a wedding planner, but they also plan the bachelorette.
Oh.
And they're part of the wedding party themselves.
Interesting. It's wedding planner plus.
It's like the premium plan.
Hmm.
Weird, eh? You'll like this one.
Okay.
Quite a bit. You can be a professional sleeper.
Oh, I do like that.
The application given in the article I read was that some hotels will hire staff members to sleep in their various rooms to give them like feedback and reviews about their night's stay, and then in the goal to improve it.
So does the other staff... So the other staff members know that it's a member of staff staying there, though?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Interesting. No, that makes a lot of sense, though, that a hotel would just...
Yeah.
I would imagine they'd bring someone from outside to just pretend they're a customer. Yeah. The staff doesn't know them, blah, blah, blah. And then they could give a full report. This person was particularly rude, etc., etc.
Yeah. Although, if they just want to know how comfy the beds themselves are, like the mattresses and the pillows
then who
and
cares,
stuff, but yeah, you're right. If they want the whole like experience, you can be someone who is paid to watch paint dry. Like legitimately. Apparently, it's needed for paint manufacturers so that they can note color and texture changes as the paint dries.
That is the funniest profession I could ever think of. Oh, so Martine, what is it that you do for a living? Oh, I watch paint dry.
Oh, very funny. Yeah.
Is it because he's so handy and stuff? No. I work in a paint factory and I watch it dry.
Paint, yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine that conversation?
It'd be like, come again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You can be a Netflix watcher.
That I believe.
Yeah, so you would watch the content that's about to be released onto Netflix and then give feedback and information about how they should categorize it.
Oh, right. Like, okay.
And also, like, useful marketing information.
I
would have thought that that's not a human doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine there's some human reviews, but I'm sure that, especially now with LLMs and stuff becoming so big and powerful.
What's an LLM? Oh, is that like ChatGPT?
Yeah, like ChatGPT and Gemini.
Yeah.
large language models.
Right. I'll get
AI.
it eventually. Okay, moving on. Another one.
Mm-hmm.
Dog food taster. This isn't. Yeah.
Are they dogs?
No, they're human.
Oh.
That was the first note I put. Human gives review about how it compares with the competition.
What?
I know. I don't really know why you would use a human for that.
Dude, that is
It's not meant for
rank.
humans.
That is so rank.
I know.
Could you imagine?
Stomach of steel, man.
Ooh. You got like, oh, I'm going into work, and like you go and lay out 5 plates of different dog foods, and you like
It makes me feel
taste
sick.
and compare. Oh, this one has a little bit more acid than number 2.
Yeah, and like they comment on texture and stuff. Like, surely you would just bring the same dog or a group of dogs around and like give them each different things.
Just ooh.
I know.
Oh, it actually
Anyways,
makes me feel a little sick.
Let's go on to something else. You can be a professional face feeler.
What?
Usually, this is a product developer for beauty companies. So you'll feel a user's face before and after they use a specific product.
That, you know what? Actually, I could see that making a lot of sense.
Test it for like softness and to
especially
see,
with moisturizers and stuff.
Yeah, and also to see if there's any like unwanted side effects.
Oh, if they get hives.
Yeah,
things
stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave the rest for after your sad story.
All right. It's about war.
Okay. Are we still talking about... Sorry, are we still talking about stuffed animals?
Sorry. You're just going to brush over the fact that you just said okay like you've been smoking a pack a day for the last 10 years. Okay.
You're not one to talk. You're the one who sounds like an old man around here.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I do complain about the young whippersnappers all the time.
No, every time I know you're sore, but every time you bend down, you're just like,
oh, back with this. You're just making fun of me.
Yeah.
For being sore.
Deservedly.
Well, I used the muscles, and now they're
and now
recovering.
I paid for it.
And
yes.
So we just have to live with that, don't we? They'll heal.
Okay, you didn't answer my question though. Is this still about the stuffed animals?
Yes, so this is still about stuffed animals. So there was often teddy bears found in the trenches of war and such during mini wars. A lot of them were sent by like the women and children with their dad as a souvenir. You know, remember me. This will bring you luck, etc.
Yeah.
Et
Oh, like Downton.
like Downton.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah, Downton Abbey. There's a thing about it, kind of.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
Same. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good luck stuff.
A lot of them were very small.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular that's famous, at least here in Canada.
Okay.
It was a teddy bear sent by a kid with their dad to the front. Actually, no, sorry. She sent it to her father, Lieutenant Lawrence Browning Rogers of the 5th Canadian Mounted Rifles.
Okay.
And he was serving on the Western Front in France.
Right.
So the next year, him and, of course, many, many other soldiers died at the Battle of Passchendaele.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they found it in one of his pockets.
Oh.
They then took all his belongings, including the bear, and shipped it back to the family.
Right.
Now, it kind of got lost after that, which is the really interesting part. And 85 years later, so relatively recently, the lieutenant's granddaughter, so I guess she would have been old. She would have been old, probably. Roberta Rogers Innes. She found it in an old briefcase. Along with a bunch of letters and old war memorabilia.
Whoa.
And then she generously donated all of this to the Canadian War Museum.
Yeah.
And so now in the Canadian War Museum, there's this teddy bear that Aileen Rogers sent to her dad in 1916. It's just a little teddy bear. And it looks nothing like today's teddy bears. It's very small and more like the one in Downton. It's less fluffy, more kind of rustic.
Just like,
But yeah. Isn't that, it's kind of cute and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it's sad that he died.
And it's apparently it's one of the most beloved artifacts in the museum, though.
It's very relatable. I mean, who doesn't know a good stuffed animal?
Yeah.
Aw.
But yeah, a lot of people came back with the stuffed animals as well from the war.
Yeah.
And they always say that it comforted them in times of need and stuff.
Yeah.
They would sleep with them, etc., etc.
So,
even the big bad soldiers need teddy bears every now and then.
Oh, this makes me feel strangely raw inside.
I know, right?
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, should I tell you about some more facts?
Yeah.
Okay. You can be an online dating ghostwriter. So
Oh, I can totally believe that.
yeah, people who are hired to write your dating app profile. It's essentially like a resume for your personal life.
Yeah.
There's even some that go so far as sending the messages to the person until you meet real life.
Oof. Okay.
There's no way you could ever form a relationship
No.
with that.
No. I don't like it.
The first, these past 2 weeks, that wasn't me. It was someone else, but I paid them, so it's fine.
Awful.
Yeah, so never doing that.
Well, I would assume not. You're married to me.
No, be an online ghost.
Oh,
It'd be so very strange. You can be an intimacy coordinator.
Oh, this is a sex thing.
Yeah.
It's a sex coach.
No.
Oh.
This is for use on film and TV sets. You organize the sex scenes. So, like, you'll be a specialist on, like, the camera angles and what best positions to use and stuff. And the modesty implements. I don't know what that means.
Probably the underwear and the...
Oh, maybe.
Like,
the stuff. Yeah.
Stuff. The blankets and stuff.
Yeah. Essentially, they just make sure everyone feels safe and comfortable while still trying to make the scene look as realistic as possible.
Interesting. I wonder if a lot of them have previous experience in, like, the adult film industry.
I wonder. Yeah. You can be a snake milker.
For venom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This makes a lot of
You
sense.
extract venom from fangs of live snakes.
Okay, not exactly related, but related. In Australia, they do this for spiders.
Yeah.
Veritasium has a video about this for spiders.
Yeah.
And he shows on camera, I'm pretty sure it's one of the most deadly spiders in the world, if not the most deadly. And they show the guy grabbing it and getting the fangs out and then milking it for the venom so that they could create anti-venom. It might have been snakes. Maybe it was snakes and not spiders.
Spiders are really small, so like
it might have been it might have been both, It might I can't remember. But
talk about like a precision job though, eh?
But the thing is, you have to make them feel the need to do it. You can't just milk them. So they actually bait them with their like own finger, I'm pretty sure. And you just get a knack for when they're going to do it so they can avoid it.
Oh my gosh.
Serious issue.
How many times
and
has
I'm
he
pretty
gotten
sure
bitten?
this guy's gone to the hospital a bunch of times because they've accidentally nicked him. And even like the tiniest nick will get you like life-threatening kind of thing.
You would think they'd have someone with the antibody on standby.
Anti-venom, yeah.
Yes, that. So they
even then you have to go to the hospital though because the anti-venom saves you, yes, but there's a lot of externalities kind of.
Fair point. Yes, so the venom is highly medicinal, and this can be used to create an antidote for like snake bites and stuff.
Yeah, anti-venom.
But they also use it for treating Alzheimer's.
What?
Apparently. Clotting disorders and cancer.
Clotting disorders I can see.
Yeah.
Cancer's weird.
They didn't go into detail. I just thought it was an interesting tidbit.
Cool.
Yeah, you need a lot of training. Goes without saying.
Of course.
And apparently almost all of these people have degrees in herpetology, which is the branch of zoology concerned with reptiles and amphibians.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. That was all my in-depth facts about those, but to finish off the like table or whatever that was shown from various sources across the web.
Yeah.
They've got acupuncturist, analyst, not really sure how that's an obscure profession, but anyways, art therapist, surfing teacher, a hacker, an odor sniffer, a professional snuggler, a bike courier, an elevator mechanic, water slide tester, and body painter.
I don't think any of those, other than maybe water slide tester, are that obscure.
I know.
To be honest.
Acupuncturist, analyst?
That's not obscure at all.
I was like, how did... Anyways, I thought that was rather funny.
Hey man, we got a long way to go with AI and stuff. You never know.
I like how random the assortment is, though. Surfing teacher, elevator mechanic. It's just...
Yeah.
I like it.
And now it's time for the quack question.
This is the part of the podcast where one of us asks the other a random question.
Just a random interesting question. Could be anything, really. Just one of those hypotheticals that pops into your brain.
The
sometimes.
really fun questions.
And it's my turn. So one of these hypotheticals could be something such as... Are you ready? Which would you rather?
Ooh.
If you had the ability to see 10 minutes into the future?
Oh.
Or 100 years into the future?
Oh. Ooh.
Basically, see something that would barely be useful because it's too short, or be really barely useful because it's too long. Like, either way.
Cool. Ooh. Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, I can definitely see the 10-minute thing being really helpful for, like, obviously day-to-day, like, chores and activities and whatever. Like,
In what sense?
is dinner going to be ready on time? Look 10 minutes into the future. Oh, no, we're falling behind.
We're not running a professional kitchen here, but
Or
okay.
like, oh no, am I going to end up dropping this bowl? Oh, it's still safe.
Am I gonna end up dropping this? Okay.
Am I going to leave on time? Ah, crap, I have to pick up the pace. Am I going to make it home alive? You know.
Wow, those are all...
Do I have a dark brain?
This isn't where I was imagining this would go. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking more like 10 minutes, I think I would choose instead of 100 years. For the simple reason that I'm not going to be alive in 100 years. I will be alive in 10 minutes. So seeing 10 minutes in the future might be useful in some way. I do think I was thinking more along the lines of stocks and using it to make money.
For 10 minutes or the 100 years?
For the 10 minutes, 100 years isn't going to be useful for me. I'm dead then. But for 10 minutes, absolutely. If you're day trading and doing real-time trading, you can see, is the stock going to go up in 10 minutes? Especially right before stock announcements. Right. 5 minutes before the stock announcement, like before the earnings call, you look 10 minutes ahead. See 5 minutes after the earnings call, like after they announce the numbers. See whether it's skyrocketed or tanked to the opposite, you know?
Dude, this really shows the way each of our brains operate, eh? I'm thinking about like death and household chores, and you're thinking about stocks.
Well, you know, I don't know. 10 minutes isn't that much time, too.
No,
it might not even work for the day trading aspect. The only thing I could think about was that maybe that it would be useful for.
I mean, I still
also, of course, making sure that you're safe, I suppose, and maybe. If you're in a waiting room, like waiting for a doctor, you're like, oh, it's got to be any second now. And then you look 10 minutes into the future and you're in the room with the doctor.
Oh, I was thinking like, I really need to pee. Am I going to be called in the next 10 minutes? Oh, nope, still waiting there. Okay, let me just nip out to the bathroom.
So here's the interesting thing about this question. It's kind of a paradox, isn't it? Because if you're looking 10 minutes into the future and then change your behavior based on what you see,
all the time.
Then is what you saw based on that change in behavior, or is it...
It can't be, I don't think. Because then you'd have a bazillion million different possibilities of the future because you haven't actually made... Like, you didn't change anything yet. But you could change a multitude of things.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe no matter what you do, you end up in the spot that you see because you're seeing the future, and it's
cool.
Like that goes into the whole is the future determined, is it deterministic, right? Because the only way that works is the future is deterministic, and you can see that deterministic future, which means that it's already decided whether you get cancer the day you'll die, the blah 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 blah, which was kind of crazy to think about.
Wow.
I don't think the future is deterministic though, so I think that you could see something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, some option out of the infinite options.
Yeah.
Based on if you didn't look. And then now that you've looked, you change something. And then that option that you saw in your head basically instantly vanishes and will never become true.
Or it could become true, but isn't a given.
In rare circumstances. I think no matter what, that specific thing that you see, especially if it's only the option if you didn't look.
Yeah.
By you looking, you are eliminating that from happening.
I know, because then you get knowledge.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
Now, I can expand this question into a more general question rather than a would you rather.
Wait, we didn't talk about the 100 years. I want to talk about the 100 years.
Yeah, I was going to go on to that But yeah, go for it.
Okay. I think it'd be really cool to like plant a tree and then be like, "Are you still gonna be here 100 years from now?"
Oh, that is
And
really
then
cute.
be like, "You're massive." And look at this. The rest of the trees are all huge. Or like, whoa. Or just like, how is the world gonna change? And
Yeah.
maybe I want to create something for my grandkids.
Yeah, I was thinking also maybe stocks or something as
Yeah,
well.
because like long-term investments of companies. Which
Yeah,
ones
just
might
see
do
who's
well.
the big giant in 100 years from now. Money and
Or-
if they exist.
Yeah, or you could be like, what's the major problem of 100
Yes,
years from
exactly.
now? And then like,
Start a company about it.
yeah, work towards fixing it.
The one thing I'm scared about with 100 years or more is that the effects of climate change will be very...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how stark they'll be in 100 years. But, you know,
Quite a bit,
more
I
stark
assume.
than now.
Yeah.
And
I know. I was
I'm kinda
imagining
scared.
like an apocalypse. Like, oh, so humans aren't there anymore.
It won't be that soon, I don't think. I don't
mean,
think humans
who
are going to die in
knows?
100 years.
We could.
It would take a lot. All out nuclear warfare, maybe.
Yeah. Possible. There's a lot
Which
of
is
stupid
not
people in the
an
world.
impossibility, but very, very unlikely. I don't think humans are going to be gone in 100 years.
We'll see.
Well, we won't. We'll be dead.
Oh, good point.
Unless we live to really... Actually, it's plausible.
In 100 years, I don't think we're both going to live to 125, dude.
It's plausible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Once again, a near impossibility.
I think my favorite for that is the trees. I think you're right, though. The 100 years in the future could be either quite happy or quite depressing.
Right?
But it might be nice that you won't, like the 10-minute thing, any change you do in your like activities because of seeing it is so much more impactful because it's coming up so soon.
Yeah, it feels almost too soon. Like to
It's
be
like
useful.
a lot of pressure.
Right. Like you could see what your performance, like you go into a meeting with your manager and what your performance review is like. You could see the end of the performance review before it happens.
Right.
But it's going to happen right now anyway. You can't
Yeah.
change anything. You can't change the way your performance has been going,
Yeah.
etc.
No, you're right.
So,
I know it's more of a check-in sort of thing in my brain.
it's an interesting...
I'm gonna say the 100 years because I think that'll be it'd be more interesting. I think
You know what? You've almost convinced me.
because no one else would know this stuff, but like you yourself are gonna find out the 10-minute stuff.
I think you've almost convinced me. I might go with that one.
But it could be either highly depressing or highly hopeful.
Yeah. Now let me expand the question.
Yeah.
If it were your choice, you got to choose an amount of time,
Ooh.
like the time period. So rather than 10 minutes or 100 years, you just got to choose. I can see X minutes or X hours or X years,
Oh.
X time period into the future.
Oh.
What would you choose?
I don't like this question.
Oh, come on. You don't?
No, I think it's a really good question. But I
Okay,
don't
so
like
you
thinking
like the
about
question,
it.
you just don't want it.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
because like the first thing I thought of was a year because I always like at the end of the year, like New Year's Eve, talk about all the stuff we did in the year and what the heck, how do we do all that stuff, and then makes you think about all the stuff you're gonna do in the next year. But then what if there's like tragedy in the next year? Like I don't want to know that.
So a year, I like a lot. I like a year a lot. I was thinking about going... So once again, from a financial point of view, 10 minutes is too short. But a year, dude, we
Yeah.
would never work again. It'd be so easy. Just look at the stock ticker of whatever company in a year from now. Boom. And you go, like, Nvidia's through the roof. We would have known a year ago that Nvidia was going through the roof. Boom. You know what I mean? But you could also do that on a monthly scale and probably get even richer because you have the compounding returns. You know what I mean? Also, a year, like you
you're right.
said, maybe is a bit too far. Maybe
Yeah.
you've seen too much at
I know,
that
but
point.
that's the thing.
And too much can change if we're going with the
Yeah.
non-deterministic view.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But I think
But
this
also,
comes-
you'd be pretty cool. Sorry, do you want to go?
I'm just saying I think it comes with the fact of just seeing in the future in general.
Yeah. But I think a year would also be cool because let's say you get pregnant. Then we go a year in the future, you can see what our 3-month-old
Oh.
baby looks like. But you could also
then-
see if it was like...
Yeah.
Ah! Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I was thinking you could also see if it was like a miscarriage or
Oh yeah. Twins.
twins. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, very cool question.
To be a girl, not a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a proper number for you there.
Yeah. I was happy with this question.
Yeah, this is
I
a good
think I'd either
question.
choose 6 months or even 3 months. Somewhere, I think 6 months-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's not bad. A quarter, once every quarter.
Once a quarter, yeah.
That's not bad. I like that. Yeah, let's agree on a quarter. It is time for the cheerful earful.
Which is an earful full of cheerful. Yes, so this is the part of the podcast. Well, this is the last section of the podcast other than the outro. And we'll leave you with something happy. So, a good news story for the week. Martine,
it's me this week.
take us away.
So, we just had a solar eclipse.
Yeah, we did. We did a whole podcast episode about it. Well, not the whole thing. But
No.
I had some ecliptical Suzuki facts. I think I said it correct. That's
Yeah, so we just had an eclipse. April 8th, 2024 was the eclipse. In Rochester, New York, a science teacher called Patrick Moriarty, 46 years ago in 1978, was teaching an earth science class and was handing out a worksheet with like eclipse trajectories and stuff like that on it.
Uh-huh.
And when they got to the eclipse on April 8th, 2024, he was like, "Oh, mark your calendars, everyone. We're going to meet up and watch that eclipse together."
No way.
Yeah. And then everyone was like, haha, very funny. And this guy kept badgering all of his classes for the next 16 years. He kept being like, "Don't forget the eclipse. April 8th, 2024.
No way.
We're going to watch it together." And then I guess he retired. And then about 2 years ago, he was like, "We can't forget about this eclipse thing." So he created a Facebook event and connected with a bunch of his old students.
Oh.
And then hundreds of them replied
Oh.
with interest in going. And in the end, about 100 of his students, like of his old students, came to his house.
To his house.
Yeah, to watch the eclipse together. And a quote from him was, "I could see their little 9th grade faces still when they were walking up to the house." I thought that was really cute.
That's so cute.
Apparently, one of his previous students called it the longest homework assignment in the history of any teacher.
Aw, that's actually amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah, the dedication of following through with that.
Wow.
For 46 years.
46 years.
Yeah. I just thought it was very topical for a
I love that
recent-
his last name's Moriarty.
I know, it sounds
So Sherlock Holmesy.
Holmesy.
So Rochester got totality then.
I don't know. I may, who knows?
We saw totality. Haha.
It was
Little
very
humble brag
cool.
for the podcast listeners.
Yeah.
It's very cool. If you have the chance to watch a total solar eclipse, do it. 100%. Super
It felt
cool.
fake.
I can see why it's a hunted thing. I can see
Yeah.
why there's eclipse hunters. It's really, really
Yeah.
cool.
I read an article about a man who this one was his 13th full solar eclipse.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he was one of those.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Bleh, 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 bleh.
But that's all, folks.
Oh, yeah, that's what he says. I forgot. I blanked after the bleh, bleh, bleh.
Blah, blah, blah. I can never do that. But yeah, Looney Tunes was awesome.
Anyways, yeah, that concludes episode 8.
Right, sorry, we're doing the outro. If you want to send us your You Don't Says, like your fun facts, your quack questions, or your cheerful earfuls, you can reach us at
thosecrazyweirdospodcast@gmail.com.
or visit our website at thosecrazyweirdos.ca.
Hope you have a great rest of your whatever. Smile a little, laugh a little, hug a tree if you're close to one.
Oh, yes, definitely go for a walk in nature. We actually talked about this in a previous podcast. Doctors even prescribe nature at this point.
Yeah. So spend some time outside with us in your ears, maybe.
Yeah. And if you're in our part of the world, spring is here.
Yeah,
The
enjoy
trees
the
are budding.
birds.
There's bunnies outside that look like they're going to have kids.
A lot of bunnies.
A lot of birds.
Squirrels.
My commute has been very twisty-turvy. I commute by bike, so like on the trails, it's just around all the geese and ducks and stuff.
We saw a fox yesterday.
Yeah, we did see a fox. That was really cool. That's the first time you saw a fox with me, but that's, I think, the third fox I've seen while walking our puppy. Yeah. Anyway, have a good one.
Yeah.
Until the next time.